What is up? Welcome back to Ringworm, and more specifically, the new and improved Ringworm shooting range. It's really coming along. Hopefully in the next couple days we'll get it finished. Unfortunately, it's been drizzling, sleeting, snowing nonstop for like 3 days, so I've been kind of locked inside and I'm just gonna get wet. I don't really care anymore. So we finished the right side of the range, which is just for 22s, all 22 targets. We got the old chainsaw made table dragged over here, and we have a few flippers, some spinny doo-wops, some dueling trees, and some homemade plates back there. Some of this will probably get moved around eventually, but for now it's fine. Actually, I did notice when you shoot this, what is this, a prairie dog? This spinner, if you happen to hit him right in the middle from back there, you also hit this webbing. I mean, this webbing was just here temporarily anyway to hold those guys up. So it's going to take a little bit of modification to get it all set up, but it's been really fun, except for the last 3 days. Ever since I got that new Taurus TX22 competition at 22 pistol, I've been shooting it every single day. I think I've shot like 200 to 300 rounds, maybe 10 days in a row or something. It's getting a little spendy. But I wanted to be able to set up kind of a speed shooting side of the range over here where you can shoot whatever you want. You can shoot 22s, or you can shoot, I don't know, I guess 30-06 if you want. I don't have any big rifles. I kind of just like shooting handguns. So this side of the range, several of the targets I'd like to be able to move around and kind of make like the Steel Challenge handgun shooting competition, like their different stages. It'd be kind of fun if I could shift them around every few days just to get something new to shoot at. They use these AR500 steel. AR500 is like the hardened steel. It's kind of pricey, and I priced out the targets. I think I mentioned this in the last video. I priced out the targets just at a normal chain retailer, sporting goods retailer. The big 12-inch round target was $90. 90 bucks for one. So I was like, well, I'm just not gonna be able to do this side of the range. Somebody mentioned you could go on eBay and find the same quality target unfinished for a lot cheaper. So I got some. I got a whole bunch of them. Check these out. These are the targets these are 3/8. This is a 12-inch gong. I got all these targets for about 1/3 the cost. When they came here, they're just raw steel. I think these are plasma cut. I can't remember if this is plasma or laser. Either way, the sides are nice and smooth, and I just put a bunch of primer on them. I think I'll paint them once I get them put up. And yeah, check out this pile. I got a set of 4 12 inches, a set of 4 8 inches, and then one set that's 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, and 3 or something like that. So all the way down to these little guys. I thought I'd put the set going from large to small on the chain in the back. When I cut these 2 little trees, I just left as much trunk there as I could, as high as I could reach, so I could use it to tie stuff off. So maybe we'll string the chain between there, and then I think this is going to have to come down. The shooting range that I had here before was just this channel through here. This was all trees. This was all trees. It was just like a corridor going through here, and I had this up so I could shoot paper on it. I think I'll make another paper target hanger at some point out of logs or something, but for now I think we're just gonna have to take that sucker down. So all those targets together from eBay cost me $280. If you bought them one at a time from the normal sporting goods store, it would have been, I think, about $850, maybe 800, maybe 900. I don't know, somewhere in that range. It was about 3 times as much. So these all have the 2 holes in them just because that's how they were sold on eBay. Some of them you put 1 hole in it, and then you can make a single target on a stand. Usually they put this fancy bracket behind it that has a spring in it, so it moves a little bit when you shoot it. It won't break your stand. But I did a lot of looking online, a lot of Googling to see people's homemade steel target hangers or stands. There are a lot of creative people out there. Like some really cool ideas, bending rebar, like one piece of rebar that makes the stand, the upright, and the hook. Although each one of those pieces of rebar has got to be like 10 or 12 feet. I looked up the prices. That was still too expensive to do a whole lot of stands. So I think the 3 of us figured out a design that'll work. And then for the set of targets big to small that are going to go on the chain, I found these hangers. These are cut out of AR500 too, so the chain goes through here. The problem with a lot of the ways you could put this together is if you put a bolt or a chain, say you put a chain link through one of those holes and used it to hang it on, and it's hanging on a chain. Anytime you're shooting the target and the bullet splatters, that splatter hits that chain link, and eventually you'll cut through it. And also, if you're going to hang this on something and you just want to put a bolt through there, you don't want a bolt head there really, because the bullet hits that, splatters, hits that bolt head and can come back at you. So you pretty much have to use carriage bolts. I think, look, oh no! What a twit. It doesn't actually fit. Well, I can't grind out the target into a square, the hole in there. It's just too hard to steel and I don't have anything to get in there. I guess I'll take the carriage bolts and grind the square off of them. The problem with that is, you know, the way a carriage bolt's supposed to work is that square locks into whatever you're mounting, so the whole bolt doesn't spin when you put the nut on the other side and tighten it. So these stands, I've saved all these logs over the last year or so that are too small to mill, but they're still quite straight. And I mostly just save the cedar because they don't rot as fast. So the other thing with the targets, you don't really want them flat facing you. If the target's a long ways away and it's on a chain, then at least you get some movement, you know, where it'll deflect most of the bullet down. So you got to figure out how to tip the target forward. So do you make a stand and then rig up a way to tip the target? We decided the best way to do it is to make the whole upright that the target goes on lean forward. I don't know if it'll work, but I think we should try it out. I feel like we better put the chain up with the targets back there because that'll be quick and easy. And then if I happen to get rained out today, at least I will have accomplished something. So also, I didn't want to have to wait like 3, 4, 5 months to save up the extra spending cash to do this all with like pretty nice, appropriate stuff. I shopped around and found the cheapest version of everything I could get. This was Hallmaster, so that's Harbor Freight. The cheapest chain. I looked all over for the cheapest chain. It's 25 feet of 5/16 zinc plated utility chain. I'm pretty sure that anything but a 22 will shoot through this, but I figure we should give it a try. It's very pretty, nice and shiny, which means it's really cheap. Yeah, it's like unreasonably shiny. It makes a very nice sound. So let's see if 25 feet will stretch here. So close, so close. Is that how you do it? I think so. Let's hope these fit. Oh yeah. Nice, I like it. It seems too obvious to just go big to small, so maybe we stagger them back and forth. Oh yeah, I forgot, I only got 10 hooks. Man, those things are really gonna rock. Especially that, there's one smaller than this. Well, maybe we can just hang this one with a clip. Here's the difference. Not that this one's gonna get shot a lot, but when you hit this, you get spalling up there, and it will cut through this. Of course, it's gonna cut through this chain. Actually, this is thicker than this. Who knows how long the chain will last. That's why these hooks are made out of AR500 steel, because they can take a lot of spalling before they give out. Well, let's blast it, see what happens. My favorite thing about shooting steel instead of paper is the sound. Like, you could be a long ways away. You could be 200 yards away and know that you hit the thing. I know. It just doesn't feel far enough away since those are hung vertically. Let's scoot back a little bit. I'm gonna make some really cool tables and stuff here. If you guys saw the last couple of videos or so when I cleared out this other side of the shooting range, I dragged several spruce logs up to camp there and several cedars, and I milled them up using the brand new Granberg Easy Rail system for chainsaw milling. But I'm gonna bring all that lumber down here and make some really cool shooting tables. I say really cool. I don't have any idea how I'm gonna make them, but I want to do some nice heavy tables and maybe some benches to sit on, and I don't know, we'll just deck this place out. All right, let's see if anything pops back at us. Whew, that little one is little. Perfect size. Couldn't hit the small one. Have to slow down a little bit. I like it. I like it. Cool. Let's make some stands. So if you're interested, here's my thought process. My first thought was take a couple logs, cross them like this. That'd be the foot, and then some kind of post going up from it. So if you do that straight up like this off your foot, your target is going to be facing straight back at you. Then you got to figure out a way to angle it down. So you could make like a triangle block back here. The other thing is, this is going to happen with my setup too, is if you made a triangle block back here and you put the plate on it so it's angled like this, then you put your hardware through and it comes out the top. So the cool thing about the store-bought ones is that the steel plate protects all that stuff. There's nothing you can see. If you shoot high over the plate, low, side to side, you're not going to hit any of your mounting hardware. What I'm going to do is put from the side, the plate's going to go on here, the bolt's going to go through, and I'm just going to lean this whole thing. And the reason I'm going to do it is then I was thinking you only need 2 feet on it, like yet and like yet, and that keeps it from falling forward. And then I thought, well, it's going to be hard to make this joint here really sturdy, so you're probably going to need some braces here to the legs. And then I thought the way you could get rid of that is make it like this. And still the downside is that the bolt is going to be at a little bit of an angle like this, so eventually you're shooting over the top. I mean, not that I ever miss, but if I were to miss, just over the top of the target, you're going to be hitting the log, which is going to be cut off like this. And you shoot enough, it's going to go through the log, it's going to start hitting the bolt. I don't know, I'm just going to deal with it. Worst case is, after a lot of shots, I blow out the top of this thing, and by the time that happens, it will have screwed up the threads on that bolt. I probably won't be able to get it back apart. I think it's going to take a long time, especially only shooting 22s. So that's the best I can come up with right now. Let's see if we can make them. So how high do we want these? Maybe I'll cut the log like 5 feet long for the upright, and then these, I don't know, maybe they go in the middle, so like 2.5 feet or something. I'm sure this first one will get screwed up, but let's give it a go. 5 feet. Well, let's do 3 and 3. 3 more. See if that's even close. Actually, I'm just going to put this together with regular old screws, so I think I'm going to have to cut this thinner. Yeah, let's cut it down a little bit. Yeah, that's not too bad. I think that's going to be heavy enough it's not going to tip over or anything. The trick is going to be getting this angle right. How do I do that? Maybe we can lean it up there. Probably don't want to cut into those screws. Plenty of wood there to hold the thing up. That's a really fat piece. This is kind of a complex shape to put together. Ooh, that tightened it up nice. And now it's snowing. Lovely. I think that'll work. It's got enough of an angle down there. See if we can knock those knuckles off without cutting my knuckles off. Oh, I was hoping I didn't grind it quite far enough and I could just pound it in there really tight and then I'd be able to get this on here easier. Well, let's try this. Guess those bolts were plenty long. Oh, no problem. The bolt's not spinning at all. I think it's got enough grab inside the log. That looks pretty good, don't it? Only took half an hour or so to put together. I think it'll be, oh yeah, it'll be plenty sturdy. Did you notice the sun's out? It's perfectly calm again. Well, how about like that instead? I think actually Sarah and Tito mentioned doing it this way. I was thinking after you shot enough times it was going to get loose and flip down, but I mean, that's all right. If it flips down, it flips down. I can keep cranking it down for a while. Oh wow, that's going to work great. Let's shoot it. The only downside of doing that is now it's a little bit too high. If you missed much above it, you go over the top of the hill. I love this so much already. It's so sweet. So much fun. Why is it so much fun? All right, I'm gonna do, I don't know, 5 or 6, maybe 5 more. Probably make this top one half a foot shorter or something. Maybe I'll cut that one off too and just leave these targets swung up like that and bolted tight. Oh, the only thing, we should do one more test. They have a nice ring. Actually, let's shoot this one and the other 12-inch target that's hanging and see the difference in the sound. I couldn't really hear it with the muffs on, but you know, maybe we want it the other way around, a little bit loose so it has some vibration to it. Sweet, let's build some more. That might be more than I need, but that's all right. This pile of logs is actually cut when I cut this side of the range out for a cabin for the siding and stuff, so it's been sitting there for the winter. And because of that, I think it'll be quite easy to peel. Yep. So I think I'm going to build these and then peel them, because as you've heard me say before, this cedar is so freaking slippery once you get the bark off of it until it dries out a bit, and it's so hard to just hold on to. I think I'm going to cut these notches out a little extra fat because it's so hard to figure out the angles just laying it on the floor, and then it'll give me space to move it up and down and twist these later on. I put them together, stand them up again, and then tweak them a little bit. I can't tell if that's the drill smoking or the wet gloves. I've been trying to kill this thing for years. I've had it forever, and it was just the driver that came in a, you know, package deal with a bunch of tools when I first bought this stuff. But it just keeps going. Actually, I don't want it to die right now because I want to finish this project, but yeah, I can't tell. Is it making a weird noise? Wish there was some way I could make a pattern out of this, but I guess we'll just do them one by one like this. Ooh, yeah, I forgot to take the screws back out of the other side before I cut this. Good thing I didn't run into anything. That one ended up a little bit narrower in the feet, but I don't think it'll matter. We'll try getting these together, and I'll shoot some bigger rounds at them and see if we can get them to move, but I doubt that's going to get knocked over. Then again, maybe Sarah needs to buy me a 50 cal for my birthday. I wouldn't have the money to shoot it. Don't do it, Sarah, don't do it. You don't need to spend those, how much are they? 5 grand, 10 grand, 20 grand? I don't know. Oh, that's 6, 7. Yeah, you could tell which logs were freshly cut and which were cut several months ago. This doesn't come off in a big sheet. Should try to find a longer drill bit, shouldn't I? Well, I've got 4 12-inch plates on tripods, 1 8-inch plate, and I've got 2 more tripods and 2 more 8-inch plates left. I'm not sure if I'm going to put them on there or not. I don't know if I need that many. I'm thinking we'll just spread these out and give them a quick plink and see how it goes. There's no way I can even attempt to try these targets out without making them pretty. Now, to make them easily shootable, you want it to be a little streaky and quite drippy. I mean, that's what I read on the internet. Kind of the only way you can do it when the nozzles are all clogged up. Oh, wow. That nozzle's a lot better. Holy cow. That stuff covers great, too. That is some great spray paint. I'm not sure I've ever seen spray paint that covers that well. Crazy. You want to see that again just because it's so satisfying? Love me a good spray paint. What's this other one? Oh, the other one's the same. I think the nozzle's just completely shot, or the can's no good. Maybe it doesn't have any pressure in it. Same technique, that's the best I could do with the red. All drippy. All right, let's see if they're hittable. Indeed they are. It seems a little too easy, they're too big. I grew up shooting paper targets. Like, you stand at a bench, you shoot a paper target, you go up, you look at it, you come back, you reload, you know, back and forth, kind of slow. never drawing, never trying to shoot fast, anything like that. So this is completely new to me, but that's really cool, really fun. Apparently I'm not shooting fast enough because I didn't even come close to missing any of those. That's the closest one at like 10 yards. Man, am I ever gonna rip through some ammo now. But that's what I was hoping for. One side of the range is for speed, the other side is you got to slow down just a little bit. I mean, we've got 12-inch targets on this side. You go straight across the same distance. You've got, I don't know what those are, 3 or 4-inch floppers, and then further out a lot smaller. Well, let's try one more mag and see if I can go fast enough that I miss something. Missed one. Bound to happen. Man, all of a sudden started pouring, so I had to quit, knock off last night. Got up this morning, had all my stuff in the trailer, backed the four-wheeler up to it, got sidetracked, did something else, jumped on the four-wheeler, drove down here, went to park the trailer, and the trailer wasn't even hooked up. So I don't do very well in the morning. So I did also last night looked at the Steel Challenge target layouts, which in some way I kind of should have done earlier. On the other side, it doesn't make any difference because you know, this is the range I've got, this is the space I've got, those are the targets I could afford. But there are 8 different stages they set up, and I just looked at how wide they made the targets. I think they're all 5 targets in every stage. Like what's the greatest width, and then the closest target and the furthest out target, and they vary stage to stage. So it looks like the narrowest target setup is 7 yards and the widest is 18 yards. I don't have 18 yards here. The closest target of all 8 stages is 6 yards. That's really close. And then the furthest out target of every stage is between 14 yards, which I can fit, and 35 yards, which I cannot fit. However, they do use only 10-inch gongs, 12-inch gongs, and then 18 by 24 plates. So my thinking is I might eventually have to move the shooting range back a little bit, just cut back into the trees here, just for a place to stand. And then since I don't have any 18 by 24 targets, I could get out a piece of graph paper or just get on a CAD program and figure out with the targets I have, like if it's an 18 by 24 target that's 35 yards away, if I substitute a 12-inch target, how close could it be? You know, if you just, there'd be a little bit different shape, but if you're only going by height, a 24-inch plate at 30 yards could also be a 12-inch plate at 15 yards, right? So my math right there, you'd have to fudge it a little bit, but anyway, that's kind of cool. I'm glad I looked it up. It'll be interesting to see how I can rig all this up to make something close to the Steel Challenge target setups. So just got 2 stands left there. I was thinking about putting them side by side, running some boards across, and then making a place to hang paper. I've got some scrap aspen that I milled up a long time ago. Didn't really get used for anything. I think I'm just going to use one of those and put boards sideways across it. Looks like I could fit maybe 2 feet top to bottom. And then I'll just make the paper hanger as wide as I can get out of these boards. And I'll leave the other one to put an 8-inch gong on it, in case, you know, if and when I do set this up as an actual Steel Challenge setup, I'll have one more small target I can put up close to substitute for, yeah, you get it. Do you get it? I'm not even sure I get it. All right, let's make a paper hanger here. That ought to be big enough. Let's see, maybe we could tie it together or something. So 30. That is one warped up nasty board right there. Perfect for shooting holes in. 30-ish. 30-ish. Guess we don't really care if this is square, do we? Might look cool if it's a little wonked up. You know what? We should probably trim the corners to make it look professional. That's how you know a real craftsman did it. Now, the only problem I have, there's not really much place to put this that's not going to be in the way of something. You kind of need some paper to be able to sight in a gun of any sort. And I mean, I guess there'll be a table right here where I'm standing. I don't really want to shoot any of these trees. That one clearly is holding up both my chains. The one back there, the big one, is really cool. It's like engulfing a rock. I also don't want to shoot through the paper and hit those straps back there. Guess maybe we can look at the other side here and see if there's a spot for it. I mean, you can move it around, but once I mount that thing on one of those tripods, it's gonna be really stinking heavy. Yeah, there's not a great place for it. I've kind of cluttered up both ranges with lots of targets, which is a good thing. Maybe for now I'll just make it and set it in the middle there, and then if I need it I could move it around later on. I guess we might as well put it on this side of the tripod. Here I guess it would get a little bit more light on the paper. Thinking maybe I try to make a flat edge in that just so there's a little more to screw to. That ought to do. Sweet. Well, before we go on to the next step, which is either making all my tables and benches out here or cutting back in the woods there to put the rifle range in, I think we have to do one little test here. I don't foresee shooting anything bigger at any of these targets than this is a 30-30. I am curious to see if there's any chance it'll knock one of these targets over, one of the tripods. I'm also kind of curious to take a shot at one of the really small hanging targets on the chain and see what happens. See if it just completely blasts it off of there. I probably wouldn't shoot the super small one because that's the one that just has the little carabiner thing on it, the steel carabiner. Might mess that up, but maybe the second to smallest. I gotta think that nothing will break, but I bet it'll wrap it around there a couple times. Let's start by shooting a tripod, see if it falls over. Got some ammo here from round about the 80s, I bet. I bet it'll still go boom though. Now that I think of it, I'm actually not sure why you'd shoot a lever action 30-30 at a bunch of steel targets either, but you know, we got to know what happens, don't we? No sense in being too close either. It hits pretty hard, but it stayed upright. Let me try that one more time. You guys saw better than I did when I hit the little flappy target back there. Of course I blinked when I pulled the trigger and all I saw is the chain jumping and everything, but it's still sitting there just fine. Oh yeah, I just remembered something. Where'd that casing go? wherever I'm working, wherever I'm doing a project or milling logs or whatever, I always bring a handful of 16 penny nails, find the nearest tree, and just tack them in so I have a place to hang all my stuff up. My jacket, my helmet, my backpack, and all that stuff. And down here at the shooting range, I realized you could pound a nail in, and you could fit one of these 30-30 cases over the top of it and just tap it in until it bites the wood a little bit, and they make really cool hangers. So I'll have to save these up and use them on the side of the table or something. Definitely left a bigger mark than the 22. There is actually a little tiny divot right there. I'm surprised it did anything. It's maybe a 32nd of an inch or maybe a millimeter or something. This guy I bet's got less because it moved so much. No, there's still a little dent. I mean, this is not a big rifle compared to what these plates are supposed to stand up to, and this is 30-30s are all tube fed, so the ammo's sitting like this inside of it. You see the tip's real soft lead and it's not pointy or anything. I guess the idea is you could possibly drop the gun and set off a a crazy chain reaction, but being that it's that soft, I didn't think it would make any mark on the target at all. I haven't priced these out in a long, but they're definitely more than $1 a piece, and that's what, 6-7 cents a piece if you find a good price on them. It's kind of a shame to let all this ammo go old and stale though. Maybe I should make up some kind of like a 3-gun thing out here. Could even do the 22 revolver, the 30-30, and maybe some shot at some point. It'd be cool to be able to do some shotgunning out here. Okay, I'm getting carried away. Let's try out the rest of the range. Let's see how it does with the 22 pistol. You're telling me we already, well, let's do it again. I've been on a mission to find the best 22 ammo. No, let me say that again. I've been on a mission to find the cheapest 22 ammo. This still runs in all my 22s. This is the cheapest one I can find. It's like maybe 5 something, maybe 6 cents a round at Walmart, Wally World. Actually, all these are from Wally World. These are a little bit more expensive. These tend to run really well. I could shoot all day and not have any jams with this. This one's kind of so-so. It seems like a lot of them don't go off, or go off and like have half the power. And I just saw these. I'd never really seen them before at Walmart. And it says black lead. Just that there's so much like gristle and grime inside the box. I don't know what that's about. And the lubricant they put on here is like really sticky. Yeah, they're really sticky. You pull the slide down there and they all just stick up in there. Uh-oh. Yep. That's not normal. Ended up painting the 8-inch target there on the tripod a different color. And that's just like the stop timer. So that way I can make up, you know, shoot, let's say this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. And when you hit that one, the timer stops. I'm just making this up as I go. I don't know if that's how it's done, but that's how I'm going to practice for a while. Use as many rounds as you need to hit them all, but the timer stops when you hit that one. .97. Should probably try that one more time, shouldn't we? Hey, it didn't jam even with all that sand in the ammo. Yes. Oh yeah, I was supposed to keep going. I forgot the rules. Forgot the rules. .377. It's a new world record. Gosh, shooting is so much fun. I mean, everything out here is so much fun. Chainsaws are fun, building's fun, sitting around on your butt in the cabin's fun. All right, enough screwing around. We got to get back to work. Well, if that's the case, Ryan, why are you reloading those magazines? You just never know. I sent a picture of these targets to Tito, and he said it looked like it was a bunch of robots running at you about to get him, and he made sure to tell me to shoot him right in the face. And so that's in my head now. I can't have an empty magazine, because if they come to life, I'm gonna be really screwed, you know? In the last video, when I built the other side, like the 22 side of the range, I realized that there were 16 targets, and this gun holds 16 rounds, and it must be like a message from the gods. And I told you that I was going to practice shooting all 16 on the timer and see how fast I could get it, and I'd let you know. I think I'm changing my mind. I think we're going to have to figure out something with the steel targets on this side. This is actually a lot more fun to shoot fast. So maybe I'll revisit the 16 and 16 down the line sometime, but we'll figure something out here. We'll make it a challenge, and you can laugh at me how slowly I get better at this. All right, before we wrap this up, one more thing. I want to let's take a walk back here and see how much work it would be to cut out this forest going back so we can get, I don't know how far it is to that side of the property. 100 yards, 200 yards? I sure hope we can get at least 100 yards on these targets. I don't know how good I am at judging distance when I'm actually walking through the forest, but let's take a guess here. That's probably maybe 50 yards at most. Although, you know, that's good. We got a long ways to go then. Oof, yeah, this is going to be a lot of chainsawing. Well, there's a lot of small stuff too. So just take out a few here. This down thing. I prefer if we can shoot around decent sized trees. Oh yeah, a lot of small stuff. So all the way down to there, to that down stuff. It's really only maybe this one tree that's in the way. Sorry, I know GoPros aren't known for their incredible zooms. I don't know if you can see right down the trail in there. You can still see the targets. So yeah, that's definitely over 100. If we slide over here, I think we could just keep it on the left side of this tree, go right through there. But looking back the other way, well, that's all right. You get a stand of like 12 cedars like this. It's good to thin them out. It's interesting, these trees right here might all be the same age. You see the ones around the outside are a lot bigger. And then these few on the inside, they could be 50 years old and just struggling to get any light. Yeah, they're mostly dead. It'd be kind of cool if we could trim right through the middle of this. Leave some big ones on either side. Kind of have a cool corridor going back there. And then a handful more cedars. Of course, I can use these trees. These are actually almost, a couple of them are big enough to build something out of them. And this, if you guys remember, it was last year, I think to start the cabin, I made this little clear cut here. This was a stand of cedars I took down. Let's see, this would have been early in the cabin build, so I think this was probably the siding. There are a bunch of good sized trees there. Kind of wanted to have there's just so few areas out here that are open to the sun. I didn't really have anything in mind that I was going to use this for, but this is right up against the edge of the property, so this, and it's in line with where I want to cut that out to shoot. So maybe I want to do like a little tiny deck, maybe, I don't know what size, 8 feet by 3, 4, or 5 feet wide, so you could actually lay down there. I don't know if you can see it either, but there is an orange target back there. So the walking 22 range camps back up there. The walking 22 range goes through the woods back there, pops out here, you come around, shoot that target, and then continue on, and there's one more down there by the deer castle. Man, it would just tie everything together so nicely, wouldn't it? Oh, this is going to be so sweet. All right, now the question is, do I do the rifle range first, or do I do the tables and benches? Actually, I already milled up the lumber for the tables and benches, so they should go pretty quick. And if I have anything left over, any of that lumber left over from those builds, I could use it for this deck down here. Although, clearly I'll have a bunch of cedar from clearing this out. It's got some real squish to it. Did I mention that? Well, this came out sweet. I am very pleased. I'm also really I'm kind of glad that I don't have quite the area to set up the Steel Challenge stages out here with what I've got. So it'll take a little figuring to get the distances and target sizes and everything to make it realistic. And even if it's not, if it doesn't match what they do in the competitions, that's totally fine too. It'll just be fun to shoot out here, learn how to be a better shot, faster shooter. Doesn't matter. I'm never gonna do anything with whatever I learned from this. I just think it's really fun to do. So thanks for watching. Come back next week. We'll probably do something else with the shooting range. If you want to come back a week after that, it'll be likely more of the same. Thanks for watching. See ya.